Hello, that's football. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and this is your latest football news as Timo Werner agrees to join Tottenham. And I gotta say, get in the comments, what are your thoughts on this? It's a very divisive signing, but ultimately I think it's a very intelligent signing. I keep saying this, you know, the January transfer window will dictate where people finish in May, in my belief. And I think if you stick with what you've got, there is a risk. If you have an injury crisis in March, you can't do anything about it. If you take a risk and you bring players in and you do get that injury crisis and those players work, then you're in a better situation. Now, Spurs know this better than anybody because in November they lost Van der Ven, they lost Romero to suspension, they lost James Maddison, and they are actively looking to do things. And I think it's a very, very good idea. As for Timo Werner, well, look, David Ornstein says 27-year-old joining on loan until the summer, agreed the deal with Leipzig and Spurs, option to buy believed to be in the region of 20 million quid, 15 to 20 million euros actually. So I just think it's incredible. It's an incredible bit of business, and the one thing that makes me think it'll work is that Spurs transfer business over the last 18 months, forget like how Conte did. If you look at Kulusevski, you look at Bentancur, you look at what they did in the summer, I think they've done really good business, and I think this is intelligent again. Of course you're going to get flops and you're going to get misses, but what's the risk to Spurs here? It's such a cheap deal to do. If he doesn't work out, you send him back. If he does work out, it's cover instantly for Son being out in the Asia Cup and any other injuries that you pick up. I think it's a very intelligent deal. He's played in the Premier League before. He's sort of washed up. No one really rates him anymore, but he's still only 27, coming up for 28. And I actually think the way Spurs play might work with Timo Werner because he's a very energetic player and Spurs like to press from the front. So, yeah, I think it's got the potential to be a very intelligent deal. And as I was saying when he was linked to Manchester United, you're not buying Victor Osimhen in January. You know, you're not buying Harry Kane. You're not doing that sort of a business. So I think in January, for a lot of clubs, you've got to set your expectations. And if you said to Spurs, would you rather have Choupo-Moting at 34 on loan from Bayern Munich or Timo Werner? You're going to go Werner because he's 27. If it works, you might want to keep him. And also, it's better than nothing. And you know, so many Manchester United fans got their knickers in a twist about this because I was talking about it a couple of days ago. Man United did like the idea of Timo Werner. They liked it. Ten Hag liked it. But United don't have the money that Spurs have got. Spurs are ready to go. Man United haven't got rid of Martial yet. They're still not finalised the Sancho deal. So snooze, you lose. Some Man United fans, I don't want Timo Werner. But it's like, it's spoiled behaviour. Well, what do you want then? We've got to get something. What do you want? And again, it's like sacking Ten Hag. There's no answer to who comes in and replaces him. I just want to get rid of him. And I don't want Timo Werner. Well, what do you want then? Well, I don't know. Well, it's better than nothing. And the great thing about this Werner deal is if it doesn't work, you send it back. If it does work, you've got a really cheap deal. I don't see the problems with this at all from Spurs. And I think from the first week of the transfer window, it looks like Spurs are looking to be the most ambitious. They've been linked to that Genoa centre-back. I don't know whether that's going to happen. They're going to bring another option in. And it shares the load out. You know what? Werner probably doesn't start when everybody's fit. But with Son, Kulusevski, Johnson, Richarlison, Werner, it gives you 5 options. And I know there are other options there, but it gives you 5 options for 3 positions. I think it's a very, very intelligent deal. Of course, there's an element of risk, but there's a risk if you spend £50 million on a player. So get in the comments and give us your thoughts. And I think that when you look at it, I feel that, well, let's have a quick look at this league table because I'm looking at it and I was looking at it earlier on and I was like, you know what? I think that there's some really intriguing things going on here. I don't know what other clubs are thinking of doing, but Spurs moving first, I think it's really intelligent. They're in 5th place at the moment. They're only a point off Arsenal, but they'll be looking behind them. They've got a 5-point gap on West Ham. They've got an 8-point gap on Brighton. I think this just solidifies Spurs' position. They're not in Europe. Obviously, they're going to have a go in the FA Cup, but they're not in Europe. And they're not in the Carabao Cup as well. So I think it's intelligent, as I said. And look, the Timo Werner thing, even I'd do it. You know, if Saka misses a shot, I'll go Timo Saka. If Haaland misses a shot, I'll go Timo Haaland. It's unfair, but in football, you get those sort of things. Timo Werner I don't think he was ever a bad player. He missed chances for Chelsea, but Nunez has probably missed as many chances for for Liverpool as Werner ever missed for Chelsea. So it's a bit of a it's a bit of banter. It's attached to him, but I never thought he was a bad player. I was actually very surprised he didn't work out at Chelsea. He was a player that I always really liked the look of. And I think it's exciting, actually, that he comes back to the Premier League potentially with a point to prove. And maybe he doesn't prove a point. Maybe he's another Bundesliga player that doesn't work in the Premier League. But on the other hand, it's a different style of football in a different club with a different expectation. When he went to Chelsea, Chelsea were a club that were expected to fight for titles. When he goes to Spurs, they're not. That pressure's not there. You're not expected to go and score 20, 30 goals in the Premier League and win the Premier League. He's going in there as a backup option with an opportunity to reinvent himself. And I think it could be really interesting. One thing that any Chelsea fan will tell you about Timo Werner is he never stopped running. He never stopped trying. You know, his confidence was certainly dented, but he never stopped trying to be that player. And look, I think the fact that Ange Postecoglou wants this deal to happen and that he wants to come to Spurs, I think it's great. And I will say, I think on United's part, it's a failure. Last season, United missed out on Gakpo to Liverpool because they didn't have the money. They missed out on João Felix going on loan to Chelsea because they didn't have the money. And a year later, they're now missing out to Spurs. You know, are things improving at United or are they getting worse? I think they may well improve in the summer, but right here, right now, United are a bit of a busted flush. We just can't get rid of the shit. And if you can't get rid of the shit, you can't put your toilet duck in there and freshen things up. And I think what Spurs are doing is doing that exactly. United just can't seem to do it. But look, that's football. This is not United Stand. And prediction time. Do you think he'll be a success? I mean, hopefully you've given us your comments about what you think about the deal. Do you think he'll be a success? I would veer on the side that he might end up being an option for Spurs. In the sense, I don't think he'll be a starter, but I certainly think he could be a player in the rotation that you need in football. But I don't think it really matters. I really don't. I think he will offer something, and then Spurs will make a decision on it in the summer. But I think between now and May, it just makes so much sense. Whether he'll be a long-term success at Spurs, if he is, it's a major bargain and it's a brilliant bit of business. If he isn't, well, it was worth a go in January. Let's see, and you reassess the situation in the summer. But look, I think it's a good deal. I think it'd be very easy to come in and mock them and go, Timo Werner to Spurs. But as I say, Spurs' activity, especially in the January transfer window in the recent couple of years, has been very progressive and ambitious and brave. And look, when they got Kulusevski and Bentancur from Italy, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, they're just hyped up, they're not that good. And then they came in and they did really well. So let's wait and see. Get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'll speak